Hey everybody, this is Tabby. This is a serious situation that I am going to address. So I hope that everybody out there who is associated, and I'm going to say names, um, as we all know, sorry, give me a sec. Okay. Oh, here she is. I just sent you a message. Hello, True Tam. How you doing, sweetheart? I'm actually going to drop the StreamYard link, but it's only for people I've told about that I'm going live. Hang on, I'll send it to you privately, actually. Oh, shit, what did I just do? What did I just do? Oh, fuck. Okay. Hey, Kelly, how you doing, sweetheart? Okay, like I said, I'm going to be name dropping because I'm at this stage in my life where I actually don't give a fuck anymore. Okay? I am a struggling pensioner. I don't disrespect anybody as far as I'm aware, I don't. I don't disrespect anybody who comes into my chat. I respect people and I treat people how I wish to be treated. Now, as you all probably know me, as I used to be a mod for Seeking the Truth with Dave. And I actually considered him at the time a very good friend. And I've addressed this earlier in the piece when we no longer were friends, and we're still not friends and never will be. He has since had his channel, as they say on the YouTube circuit, he has since had his channel terminated. And as he must be devastated with that thought, knowing that all the years of work he's put into his channel just to have it basically snatched away from him. But at the same time, if you're going to disrespect people that have been murdered, then that is your own fault. You are going to disrespect people in your chat. That is your own fault. You're going to make people who have a different opinion than your own make it their fault. Sorry, just give me. Okay. I'm at the point in my life where I am fucking over it. All right. Dave and I are no longer friends. We'll never be friends again, as far as I'm concerned. And I have been informed that he is bullying people who have actually left his chat. And that makes me quite angry. It makes me quite disappointed to know that someone has stooped to that level, to that low. All right, hang on. Oops. Okay, hang on. There you go, Tam. Now, what seems to be happening is the fact that I've been called Miss PayPal. I've been called a beggar by this person. And this person, mind you, makes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars per live. When he had his channel, he had his PayPal link, he had super chats. Excuse me for a sec. Okay. Now, I'm not a beggar. There are times when I plead. Yes, I do agree with that. Because when times come rough and stressful for me, I do desperately need help. So I love my family. I love them to bits, but I can't count on them to save my bacon, so to speak. So there are times when I will be saying to people, look, I really need help. I really need help getting that shed. And every single person who donated helped me achieve that. So for the bottom of my heart for that, thank you. Now, this particular, I'll say his name, Dave. He was talking disrespectfully about the Rusaks. I've got nothing against the Rusaks. I've got nothing against the Watts family. But the fact that he continues to disrespect the Rusaks, they lost their daughter. They lost their grandchildren. And their son-in-law, basically, but the son-in-law is still breathing. and alive and well, so to speak. Now, there were times when Dave would go live and I would be a guest on his panel so he could have a breather and have a cigarette. I would be told what I could and couldn't talk about. I would have to lie to his subscribers and say to them that I'm fine when I wasn't. I had to tell them my hands were fine when, excuse me for a second, I've got a guest. Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, baby girl.
I'm sorry if I'm annoying you with this. I just had to get this off my chest because I'm over it.
No, not at
Yeah.
all. I'm sorry. It took me the link when I went to I sent you a picture on my end. Our private chat was blank, and I'm like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" And then I hit the link, and it wouldn't take me there. It told me to start a whole new account. I'm like, "Stop it right now! Stop it!"
Oh, well, that's why I thought I'd post it in the chat so you can click onto that.
Okay, I'm here. Carry on with what you were saying, love.
Thank you. Now, what would happen is, like I said, most of my subscribers know I've suffered from carpal tunnel in both of my hands. I had an operation on my left hand, and since then, my hand is significantly worse. I can't grip things like I used to be able to. I can't even grip like a little baby piece of like lettuce to grip it and grip a knife to cut it at the same time. So what would happen is the fact that if anyone in his chat would ask me how I was, I'd always have to say I was fine, even if I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I had to lie. And so then what happened is that Dave took it upon himself to then basically evict me from his channel because apparently I went to one of his friends, apparently begging her or telling her about my financial situation. And all she said is, "What's new with you?" And I said, "Oh, at the moment I'm in the process of saving up for an air conditioner." She took it as that I was begging her for money, and I wasn't.
Oh, for God's sake.
And he basically sent me an abusive message saying, "How dare you do this? How dare you do that?" But then previously to that, he would send me messages saying, "Oh, this particular lady, I know her name she uses in chat, but I'm not going to say it because in case she doxes me." And he goes, "Oh, well, I managed to score a $3,000 computer from her because I told her I needed it for my stream, and she sent it to him." But yet I wasn't asking this woman for money. I was just simply telling her about my situation.
Yeah.
And saying I'm finally able to start saving for an air conditioner. Anyhow, so then what happened? Moving on. After my carpal tunnel surgery, I was in a lot of pain. I was coming off my painkillers. And one of his mods, and I'm going to say her name, Tiger Girl, decided to send me a message saying, "Dave is going to demod you until you're better." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Does he have to?" She goes, "Yeah, well, you can't be in there in chat if you're in pain." I'm like, "Oh, actually, that's actually quite considerate of him." No, it wasn't.
No.
And then when I went into one of his chats, I saw that I still had my wrench. So I privately messaged him and I said, "Can you please remove my wrench after the live?" And he goes, "I'm sorry, I can't do that." And he removed my wrench live. And that was humiliating for me. And so I decided, you know what, fuck this. I'm leaving his chat. I can't deal with this. This is bullshit. And so then it proceeded. Everything went along fine. He was leaving me alone, which he should have. And then I find out that he has started to use alts and started to say that I miss PayPal, I'm a beggar, and all this sort of stuff. Now, the thing is, though, is that I don't beg unless I desperately know that I've got a time restriction to get something to fix my home so I don't get evicted.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go for it.
You and I have been friends, like actual friends, for a couple of years now on here, as well as privately. And I can tell you right now, you've never asked me for shit.
Exactly. And that's something, and you've never asked me for shit. You've just asked me to always be upfront with you and honest about what I'm thinking. And I appreciate that. Like,
and if you hear something that somebody said I said, come to me.
Exactly right. And Tam and I had a conversation the other day, and I'll get back to the Dave shit in a minute.
Real quick though, hi Kelly. I didn't see your message earlier. I'm sorry. Hello. Okay, carry on.
Tam and I the other day, I was telling her about a theory that I had in regards to the Watts case, and said to her that it came to me in a dream. Now, Tam is an amazing person. She didn't judge me for it. She didn't turn around and go, "Oh my God, you're a fucking loon." Nothing. She actually listened to me, and it was one of the best. We always have great conversations, but that was one where I would never discuss that with anybody else. I only discuss it with True Tam because she knows Cindy and Ronnie.
Yeah.
So she can actually tell me if she thinks I'm being a bit, cuckoo. And I listen to her because she's like a big sister to me. Sister from a different mister. And so what happened is,
and when you tell me things or you have things that you bring to me with regards to the case specifically, I hear you out completely, and then I will provide you with the facts and the evidence to show you if you're on the right path or why it's not the right path. Does that make sense?
Exactly. And that's something I'll be forever thankful to you for. And when, and I'm sorry if this is a bad thing to bring up on panel, but when Tam was friends with Cindy and Ronnie, I would say to her, is it okay if I ask you a question? And if you think it's appropriate, would you be able to ask them? And Tam was fine doing that, but she goes, I can't do it like every time I talk to them. If you have a question here, a question there, but not like 50 million questions in one fucking hit, And that's something I can guarantee every single person who ever listened to Seeking the Truth with Dave, he never, ever put up a community post saying, if you could ask Ronnie and Cindy a question, what would it be? And then he could pick out the top 10 questions going, this question comes from Hornswoggle in Sydney, Australia. This is a question they would like to know. It's all about what he wants to know. It's never about what the people in chat want to know. It's never about anything like that. And Tam, on the other hand, she's always said to me when she was friends with them, you can ask questions, but like I said to her, if you think it's inappropriate, by all means, don't ask them. And Tam and I have that understanding that if she says anything I find disrespectful, I can tell her and we sort through it like grown-ups. And so that's what I love most about it. And back to deep shit Dave. I was live a while back now and I was talking about something and then this person came in known as Sam the Butcher. Now, I knew straight away as soon as I saw that name because the picture was actually Sam the Butcher from the Brady Bunch. So I knew straight away it wasn't an actual person. I knew it was Dave. And he was saying stuff like, oh, I want to PayPal you. And I'm like, well, the link's in the description. And then I kept on talking. He goes, oh, but I want you to say something disrespectful about Dave. And I'm like, well, no. I said, you can pay me up to $1,000. I still won't say anything disrespectful about him. I want nothing to do with him. I want him to stay away from me and I want him to stay away from my channel. And you can pay me as much as you want. It's not going to change anything. I'm not going to say anything disrespectful about him. Anyway, time moves on. Dave loses his channel again. This time, apparently, it's permanent. So, now, I was live earlier tonight wishing everyone a happy Valentine's Day, doing my little Valentine's Day little spiel. And then someone came in as Grumpy Granny. Now, I had never seen this person in my chat before, and I thought this person was actually legit because, I thought Dave not having a channel anymore, I didn't think he was able to be anywhere near YouTube, as in going into other people's chats. But he has alts, which means alternative accounts. Now, I'm asking every single person who hears me say this, if you know of any of his alts, message them to me or message them to True Tam. Because, yes, we need this person away from YouTube, away from our channels, and he needs to stay the fuck away from me because I'm done with it. This person who was Grumpy Granny goes, oh, something like, oh, it's Party Central here. If you go back through the previous live, you probably won't see any of the comments because I myself had to block it. And I said, well, for privacy reasons, I would rather you PayPal it to me because then that way if you go, and I thought this person was legit, mind you. I said, I don't want you to go into other chats and then you're targeted because of the fact that, hey, you gave a small channel like, Tabby Wells' channel money. Hey, we better be nice to this person because they give good money. So if anytime someone donates to me via PayPal, I don't mention their names unless they go back into chat and go, hey, Tam, check your PayPal. I just sent you some money. I don't personally thank people individually. Like True Tam was to donate to me. Not saying you're going to, so don't stress. I would personally then go, oh, it's the person who just donated to me. Thank you so much for that. And Tam's disappeared. I personally wouldn't personalize the thank yous because I don't want people to be targeted for being donating to small channels like mine. It needs to excuse me for a sec, guys. You hung up on me.
I meant to answer you. I muted my mic so I didn't make any noise, and I went to say something, and I lost the whole screen.
Oh, I thought when I was saying about how oh no, I thought I offended you by saying if you were to donate, I wouldn't personalize the thank you, and then you disappeared, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
fuck,
no. I'm like, shit, she's gonna think I'm
It's all good, darling. But, you know, that's just the way I've always done my channel. I've never personalised thank yous. I probably did in the beginning, but then I realised that that's not the way to go. People are donating because they want to, and they have a right to their privacy just as much as I do.
Yeah.
So I never mention personal names, like I was saying before, it cut off before. If True Tam was to donate to me during a live, I would not come out and go, oh, True Tam, thank you so much for that $50. That's going to come in handy. I would be like, to the person who just donated to me, thank you so much for your generous donation, or thank you so much for your donation. Much appreciated. It was very generous. I don't personalize thank yous. I will send a thank you back through PayPal if my eyes allow me to see the screen to actually type thank you so much, but I will not personalize it publicly. And but like I said, this person who came into my chat tonight, there were some of my mods who apparently knew it was Dave. Now, I'm also going to put this out there. If you're a mod on my channel and you know one of these people that are coming into my chats is one of Dave's alts or one of his many ass kissers, block them. I'd rather have 20 loyal subscribers than 200 or 300 fake ones.
Yeah.
So this is, I hope this is not being disrespectful to you, Tam, when I say this. I'm going to speak on behalf of Tam here. If you are a mod on either one of our channels and you see one of those fucktards in there and you're friends with me on Facebook and you're friends with Tam on Facebook, what you need to do is you need to screenshot it.
Yep.
And then you need to send it to us, and then we'll screenshot it, block them, then send it to us, so then we know why we're getting a notification such and such was blocked.
Yeah.
It's not up to us as the creators to keep an eye on chat the whole entire fucking time to be doing the blocking. That's why we have moderators in our chats.
Yeah. And for me personally, I don't tell my friends, which that's who my mods are. My mods are my friends. My mods are people that have been on my channel for a while and I know them and I trust them. I don't tell them who they can be friends with. I don't tell them where they can go, what they can watch, or who they can mod for. But if you're my mod and you're my friend, I do expect a level of respect on my end. So if you know that I have an issue with one of the other channels you mod for, and you see them come in my chat and you know they're starting shit, I expect them to be blocked.
Exactly right.
Now, in all fairness, so it is my channel, so I kind of like to play with my food first, and then you can block them.
Yeah, that's it. Now, on True Tam's channel, she does dancing and stuff, so she can't be there. No, I don't mean to say this to be disrespectful. She can't be like me, sitting on her ass and, you know, keeping an eye on chat, because her channel, when she dances around, and actually, you know, I actually sometimes when it's at a time I can, I'll actually get up in my room and I'll dance around with her. I don't go on camera. And, you know, she inspires me to do that. And if there are going to be people like Grumpy Granny, Sam the Butcher, going into her chat and judging her, mods, you need to fucking start lifting your game if you want to remain mods on my channel, and if you want to remain, I'm not trying to speak for you when I say
no, I understand what you're saying.
Either one of our channels, you're there to protect us from assholes who are going to come in.
Yeah.
You can't keep on expecting, like, my eyesight is it's getting a little bit better over time. I can see things much clearer than I could, which is good.
Yeah.
But I say, as I don't have time to continuously be in the middle of a conversation, then look down and chat, and then have people in chat saying, oh, I know who that is. And it's like, well, if you think who it is and you have on concrete ground, you know who it is, block the motherfucker.
Yeah, if you know 100% that that's who that is, just block them. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to hear about it. Just block them.
Exactly. Because it needs to stop. Like, I did I thought a pretty good live tonight, wishing people happy Valentine's Day and just saying just because if you're alone, it doesn't mean that you can't feel love. I didn't end up saying this. I was going to say, go treat yourself to a glass of champagne and toast yourself for being free of assholes.
Exactly.
And then,
do a
you know
facial,
what I mean?
have a bubble bath, love yourself. God damn it. We spend too much time loving people that don't appreciate it.
Exactly right. And if those who have stuck around since I've started my channel, I used to admire Dave. I admire him so
at the
much.
beginning. So did I. And I wanted to help him. And I can tell you, it was after my 3-hour video call with his then right hands, Tia and Leah.
Yep.
I spent 3 hours of my time on the phone with them, giving them the information I had back then and lining it all up for them to never hear from either one of them again.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
After I spent 3 hours on the phone with them.
That's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. My favorite, though, was when the dirty dingo diddler was on a live one day, and he was talking about something about the case, and he had some of the, whatever he was talking about, he said, I'm not 100% sure. So I hit the link, and I said, like, I know, and I went up on the link, said what I had to say, and then I got off panel, right? He was on live with Larry the lawyer.
Yeah, yes.
And I forget what they were talking about, but I thought, no, I'll just let them know that it's this and this, right? Maybe it was a time or something. Anyways, doesn't matter. I got off his link, which I'm assuming he assumed that meant I hung up and got off the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I was still watching his live. I just got off of this, right? Like joining the live. To which I heard him with my own ears talk shit about me and then tried to deny it.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. He doesn't take accountability when he fucks up. Never.
No. And that's the thing. It wasn't that somebody came and told me, motherfucker, I heard you with my own ears.
Exactly. And I remember there was a time when I even said it to you and you went, I think keep in mind, this is going back about 2 years. I remember saying to you about how it's interesting that when you see crime shows and they, even if they're reenacting it, you see them taking plaster casts of the tire treads at a crime scene.
Yep.
How come they never did that at Survey?
Well, we don't know if they did, though. Remember that. Yeah. We don't have the full discovery. We have what they chose to give us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is back then I was saying, that's what I just didn't think they did. And again,
right. Sorry, yeah.
No, that's okay, because like back then I was just like, well, why didn't we ever see them do that? We saw a bunch of these people standing around waiting for the kids to be excavated, if that's the right word, or from the tanks, which still breaks my heart to know that that's what he did to them. If he did do that. Now the thing is, though, no, I don't believe he did either. And the thing is, though, is that makes me so angry is that when I mentioned that to Dave, he shrugged it off like, oh, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. This was in a private conversation, mind you. And I said, well,
of course.
It just makes me wonder, because I didn't want to embarrass him or embarrass anyone else by talking about it on panel. So it just makes me wonder, why didn't they? Did they, when you see them going up to the top of the tank, you see them, they've got bare hands. And then it's like, well, they would have put gloves on, obviously, when they were going to open it. But at the time, you only saw them with bare hands going throughout the house with bare hands.
Yeah.
And then when Chris was arrested, that's when they decided to go back through the house and wear gloves, like fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Now, he dismissed all of that and said they wore gloves. No, because when he was going around the house and knocking on the windows and pulling at the fucking windows and the doors to try and open them, I'm sorry, he did not have gloves on. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. He was not wearing gloves at all.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at it this way: is as he was knocking on the windows, pulling at the window frame to try and see if there was a way to open a window,
he didn't,
or anything like that.
Pardon? He didn't. He knocked on windows. He never once tried to move a window to see if it was open.
Oh, I thought he did that at the back door.
The back door.
The plank that wood down the bottom.
But at the back door, he saw that the security bar was down and across. But what he didn't mention was the fact that the screen was on the wrong side, which means somebody came out that back screen but didn't close it.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. this is what's amazing about True Tam. She corrects me, but she doesn't do it in a patronising manner.
No, I don't mean it that way. I'm just trying so that you know exactly.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And then,
sorry, like I just wanted to add, they also didn't take any impressions of the tire tracks that led up to their back fence when there shouldn't be any tire tracks back there because nobody lived in those houses right behind them. They were vacant.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. The tire tracks. Why wasn't there any impressions of any tire tread anywhere?
At Surrey or the backyard.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's just, and then when I said that to him, he goes, "Oh, you don't know what you're fucking talking about." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, fair enough."
Well, you see, you know why? Do you know why people will attack me for talking about the actual evidence and facts? And they'll tell you I'm crazy and my theories are ridiculous, when in fact, I'm not crazy. Well, I am a little, but I admit it. But I don't have a theory. What I'm laying out is what actually happened with physical, scientific, and digital evidence. Right?
Exactly.
So for him to say that to you, that's how I know which creators are being paid by the ones leading this fantastic fantasy of a theory that they presented in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just like what set me right off and led me down the rabbit hole of the upchucks is the fact that when you present any victim's family, okay, anybody who's lost somebody, even if they came home and found them dead asleep in their bed by natural, they're gonna want to know anything and everything, no matter fucking what.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet, on millions of occasions, I personally have brought physical evidence to their awareness, and they shoot it down immediately.
Oh, yeah, of course they do.
Right? So now we got a family of murdered victims who will boo-hoo and cry and scream victim all over the place, except when it comes to finding out the actual truth. When it came out of their mouths in the courtroom, they were the evil people will get what's coming to them. Not Chris. The evil people came out of their mouths, okay? And I've never known any family member of a deceased victim to keep the beds they were murdered in.
Oh, yuck, did they?
Oh, well, they were loaded in the U-Haul.
Oh, I thought that was, when I saw that sort of stuff happening, I thought that was all that stuff was getting like donated to a charity or something.
They're probably in the cupboard. Yeah, no, in the back of that U-Haul truck, you could see Shanann's big headboard and her mattress. Well, I'm sorry, if you were murdered in your bed, shouldn't those mattresses be in evidence?
Exactly.
Because by the time Chris was sentenced and convicted, right? There was not even a second thought at that point that everybody didn't die in the house. It wasn't until February, months into his sentence, when Rourke went public and said, "Oh, there's a shadow. He picked up one of the girls." Oh, so now the girls didn't die in the house.
Yeah, because I've always had the theory when it comes to this case is that if nobody died in the house, if Shanann actually in fact died in the house, no amount of cleaning products, and this is just my opinion, no amount of cleaning products would have deferred the dogs away from that particular scene, like the bedroom. The dogs would have gone straight there.
These were search dogs and cadaver dogs. Cadaver dogs can smell a dead corpse that's been underground, under 50 feet of ice and snow and ground for 50 years, and they'll still find it.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. No cleaning products, no matter how much Chris cleaned that house, no matter what. I don't believe Shanann died in the house either.
Nobody died in the house. The dogs told you that. Nobody died. And the fact that we're missing physical, visual evidence that anybody died in the house, and the fact that law didn't take the beds, because it wasn't until, because this is August, right? When they took all the evidence.
Yep.
Okay. Chris's team got to go in there on Friday, the 17th of August. So September, October, November, December, January, 6 months later, they change it and tell you the girls didn't die in the house, but yet the beds weren't taken for evidence 6 months earlier.
Exactly. It's just, it's fucking
That's
sick that
suspicious.
police station's fucking corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
And if I could, I would love to find a way to expose how negligent
Oh,
they
it's
are.
coming. Oh, it's coming. Because, yeah.
Oh,
no.
I can't wait.
I have multiple cases that are put together.
Oh, can't wait to hear
Multiple.
more
I
about
have cases that are I have files put together on those that need to be indicted. I have a giant folder on DA Dork that I will be taking to the authorities that will then investigate him directly.
Excellent. I call him Dumbass Dork, by the way, because he's a dumbass.
Yeah. So we're going to start with prosecutor misconduct by the fact that he married his wife, who I believe is at least 15 years his junior. But more importantly, she was one of his rape cases.
See, that's disgusting.
That is a no, 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 no. The prosecutor for the Stephen Avery case was disbarred for sexting a domestic violence victim, not marrying her, sexting her on a text message.
I think I remember hearing about that.
He got disbarred.
Too.
Then we've got the dork who disobeys a direct order in the courtroom from the judge that he is to give the defense team 48 hours notice prior to any autopsy procedure being performed. But yet, work states, well, they won't be doing anything over the weekend. I know that, right? So it'll probably be early next week. Okay.
Yep.
It was done the next morning and everybody was there except anybody from defense. Because where were they? On camera at Chris's house.
Yeah. And the thing that actually makes me quite physically sick is that when they go into the house at one stage, there are people there and it looks like they're being camping out there. Like she's sitting on the couch and it's just like,
those are the special forensic investigators that the defense team had the state pay for who didn't actually do anything.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that she was sitting on the couch with, I'm sorry if this makes me sound revolting saying this, sitting there wearing a pair of shorts. Meanwhile, skin cells from her own body and sweat and everything from her can be left on the couch and draw away actual evidence that could potentially have any there. And like I was saying before, no amount of cleaning products is ever going to get rid of the smell of death. And those dogs, like you said, can smell a dead body that's been under the ground for 50 years. And the thing is, there was Jane the Pain. So I have nicknames for all these people in this case. And Jane the Pain, as the dog is barking and trying to drag her over somewhere, she's pulling the dog back and telling the dog to shush.
Right.
Like, what are you fucking doing, you crazy cow? You are supposed to, anytime you're going to, this is, again, a theory. If you are going, say, for example, walking your pet dog and your dog needs to go and have a shit or do a piss, your dog's dragging you somewhere where they could go and do it and they're set to go, they piss, they shit, and then they walk back and they're normal. But if you ignore the dog and you're sitting there and you go, oh, shh, why are you shushing the fucking dog? The dog's trying to drag you over to one of those fucking skip bins and you are dragging the dog away from that. Because at the end of the day, I believe in one of those red bins or whatever you want to call them, I do believe there was evidence in there to prove Chris's innocence and they wanted nothing to do with it. Because I don't believe that Chris deserves to be in jail. I believe there's other people that deserve to be there instead of Chris. And I think that if Chris, killed Shanann, then he also killed Nico. But there's no proof of that. Like there's this story I listened to, and I can't remember what it was called, but I was listening to it as I was going off to sleep the other night, and there was a part where Chris admitted to killing Shanann. But then when the press release was made, that very night when Chris was actually arrested, they said Chris admitted to killing Shanann and the children. Now, from what I remember, Chris didn't admit to killing the girls. He was adamant that he did not kill the girls. And if you remember when you've watched the lie detector test, Tammy Lee, I'm ashamed she has our name, but Tammy Lee.
She has my first and middle name.
Oh, fuck you, poor thing.
Right?
How is it, though, the lie detector test, Tammy Lee never once asked a question about the girls. They assumed that if they found Shanann, they'll find the girls. They just assumed that.
Right.
But Chris, if you watch the interrogation when they come back in and they do the lie detector test, they asked, do you know where Shanann is? Did you have anything to do with Shanann's disappearance? And I can't remember the third question off the top of my head, but there were those two questions and a third one. But not once did they ask him, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Shanann and the girls? It was just about Shanann.
Yep.
And they came to the assumption that, oh, well, hey, if Shanann's missing, we find Shanann, like I said, we'll find the girls, no worries.
Mm-hmm.
They assumed that, and they took that to the court. Chris never admitted until they went back and spoke to him again.
Chris never said anything in regards to the girls until the night he cracked 97 days of being in his underwear with no bed, no pillow, no blanket, no people, no phone call to pick a lawyer, no call home, no nothing. 97 days, the man snapped and said, fine, I did it.
Yeah. I thought he didn't admit it until they went out and saw him in Wisconsin. That's when I thought he actually openly admitted that he did away with the girls, unfortunately.
No, because by that point, they were asking him they were asking him questions they already physically had the answers to. Like, where did you put the blanket and the toys again? I left them by the grave. They must have blew away. Oh, so the heavy blanket and the heavy toys blew away, but not the sheet or the garbage bags. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And how they just said they were black garbage bags with red ties, and they matched the ones at at Chris Watts's house. Now, here's another thing I found funny, is that when they found the sheet, they rang or they emailed the people at the police station and said, can you send me a photo of the sheet that the bed sheets that were found in the dumpster or in the bin. Now, the thing that I find most amusing about that is that if I'm looking at a picture of something on my phone and I think, hey, that's a really cool purple top, I'm going to order that. And then when you get it, you realize it's not actually the purple you're thinking because it's actually brighter or it's darker or what have you. So how were they able to come up with this assumption that the sheets were the exact match? Last time I went to Kmart or Target or wherever you go to buy your bedding, they make more than one of a particular sheet set. Like they'll pure black, they'll make about 5 different shades of black. You know what I mean? So you can't look at it and go, oh, it's an exact match because this picture looks like this and this sheet looks like that. Because if you're looking at something in the flesh compared to what you're looking at in a picture, it's completely fucking different, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
So how were they able to draw that conclusion? How do we know that that wasn't one of Nicole Kessinger's sheets? And she just thought that it looked nice when she saw it at Chris's house, so she thought, I'll go buy one too. We don't know.
How do we know it wasn't Atkinson's?
Exactly right.
How did Atkinson, in her interview less than 24 hours later, to which she didn't want to do again, thought she was going to be arrested. I don't know why anybody would think they're arrested if they're innocent. But anyway, again, that's suspicious. How did she know there was a bedsheet missing at like 2:00 on Tuesday when we didn't find out about the bedsheet until Wednesday?
Exactly right.
Because she clearly said, I didn't touch anything, so I don't know if any are missing. And magically, a piece of that same sheet is on the chicken wire fence in the backyard.
Exactly. And another thing that confuses me as well, though, with that is the fact that I personally believe that Atkinson was there to keep an eye on Shanann for Shanann's mum. There's no way in the world that she would know that. This is embarrassing to admit, I have about 4 pairs of sneakers. All right. I mainly wear my light purple ones. Now, the thing is, though, anyone that knows me knows that I switch it up between my white, my blue, or my shoes.
Yeah.
Now, how would she know that those particular shoes that were by the door are shoes that she wears, as she put it, and I quote, every single day? You know what I mean? So you've got to, I'm curious as how the fuck would you know unless you were over there every single day? How is it that she was able to get information from the doctor's office saying that Shanann never turned up for her appointment when, in my opinion, you're supposed to be able to say, doctor-patient confidentiality. You know, if she didn't turn up for an appointment, you're not going to tell some random fucking stranger who walks in and going, oh, did Shanann Watts turn up for an appointment? That's like me saying, oh, I've got a doctor's appointment, on which I do, on the 10th of April to get this skid tag removed from my eyelid. And say, for example, you don't hear from me for about, less than 12 hours, you don't hear from me. And you rang the hospital and asked, oh, you know, did Tammy Wells turn up for an appointment? They're not going to fucking tell you because it's confidential. No. And plus, it'll cost you a small little fortune to call Australia. The point I'm making is that she knew so much about everything with Shanann, like how, we kept on trying to force feed her.
She didn't know anything about Shanann as a friend.
No.
She didn't know how old she was. She didn't know her birthday. How? But you know, then you tell me in your interview that you don't know anything about their financial, but then you tell me a shit ton of stuff you know about their financial. And what's weird is you know just about as much as the other Nikki.
Exactly. And how is it that when she walked into the bedroom, she didn't see the ring? Chris goes in, walks out about, say, within 10 to 15 seconds later, holding the ring on his finger and showing it to Nicole Atkinson. Now,
you have to go back to the body cam and see how many times Nicole goes in that room before Chris goes in once.
Exactly. And how is it that the purse mysteriously appeared on the counter when it wasn't there before? And how is it that when they found...
The other thing, though, is the fact that Troy McCoy claims that Chris told him that the ring was left on the kitchen counter.
Exactly, but it wasn't on the counter, it was on the...
But we've seen Chris's phone bill, and we know Chris and Troy didn't have a phone call, and we've seen the text messages, so we know he didn't tell him in text message.
Fucking hell. See, this whole case is just so fucked up. And the thing...
They also didn't tell us that Cody Roberts lives in Troy's basement.
And Cody Roberts was one of the cops, wasn't he?
No, Cody Roberts is the worker whose site Survey 319 is, and who knew on Friday there was a leak and didn't fix it himself because he's not new. And then he also didn't tell Victor, the weekend guy, to fix it. No. That leak kept going like a fucking spring water until Monday. Yeah. When they told you, every employee told you what happens if the inspector shows up and they even see a drop of oil on the ground. What happens? Right? But yet we let this leak bubble up for 4 days. When the guy whose site that responsibility is there. The only new employee at the time was that girl. I think it was Amanda something.
Can I ask you something? And I could ask you this offline, but I'm asking you so you could, put you on the spot for a sec. Do you think that Kessinger planted that leak? Because I've just started to think about it.
Oh, it was part of the plan. It was 100% part of the plan. I don't know if it was her specifically, but it was definitely conveyed to Cody to make sure that that leak started on Friday, because that was probably his last site he was at on Friday, because it was 3:00 when he called Troy in the truck while he was with Chris in the parking lot.
Because I just find it a bit strange how Kessinger was meant to be like the safety person.
Yep, she should have been Cody's first call, not Troy. Her.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing, that the reason I'm starting, this is just something that's come into my mind now. Whoever else is involved in it now, Chris, I don't think that Chris had it planned at all. If he is in fact responsible, which I don't think he is. If that was planted and say Kessinger and her friend Jim, hypothetically, this is a hypothetical to the people that are listening on this on replay, because there's not many people in here. How do we know that she didn't go out there, do that to that, because in case they were going to actually, blow up the tanks, how do we know that she didn't go out and cause that damage? And then when they said, oh, there's a leak, she turned to them and said, I'll take care of her. I'll get someone out there to fix it straight away. But instead, she didn't do shit to go do that. So then when the Monday morning came around, the leak was still there because every intention is that's how they were going to actually cause the explosion, is because that leak, like you said, it would have been leaking for like 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time whoever did cause that leak, did they even bother to investigate if it was deliberately leaking because someone deliberately damaged it? Because if I've been correctly told this, they've completely got rid of the tanks at Survey 319, completely got rid of them. They no longer exist. It's just now an open field.
Yep, and
Did they bother to check?
site was already on the list of ones they were going to close for good because it wasn't producing. Think about it this way. The last person that signed for the water truck was Chris Watts a whole year before. Mm-hmm. So in one whole year, those tanks are now full.
Okay.
It took a year to fill Survey specifically. So they knew it was the perfect site to set all this up. Now, because of stuff that has come directly out of Cody's mouth and Troy's mouth, I know they're involved, physically involved.
Yeah.
By their own admission, whether they realize it or not, just like the rest of them. And like I said to Warrior Princess last night, how is it that I have ripped this case apart to the point I can line all of the evidence up with the people I know did it, but I still can't connect Chris to it? Tell me how that makes sense.
Yeah. And you've been on this case since the beginning, haven't you? Like, roughly when it first started everything was like being released to the public and stuff like that. You've been around, that doesn't mean to say it like that. You've been involved in researching this case like pretty much since the beginning, yes? Okay, True Tam's muted herself. So I hope she's not talking and she's saying stuff because I can't hear her. She's muted. But
sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just talking to my daughter. Keep talking.
No, that's fine. I'm just going to go back to Dave for a sec. So this is the kind of conversation that is, in my opinion, is actually rewarding, because I'm finding out stuff about, like I said, I won't come onto my channel and actually discuss Chris Watts unless I'm discussing it with True Tam or anyone else that wants to discuss it. The thing that is amazing about True Tam, and if anyone's in here that is a mod, please drop True Tam's channel, please. I want to help her get more subscribers. The thing is, though, is the fact that you can have a conversation with True Tam and she's not going to dismiss things. She's not going to sit there and go, oh, God, Tammy, we've had this conversation. With Tam, she's very open about what she knows. And like she just said, she's lined up everything in a nice, neat little row, and nothing about this case comes back to Chris. And I do believe that Kessinger or her friend Jim, because at the end of the day, you've got to remember, they didn't have cameras out there. Okay, so there were no cameras, there was no field cameras, nothing there to see who was coming and going and stuff. So how do we know? Because Kessinger was the safety observer or whatever the fuck her job was. She is supposed to report things. Like, how do we know that she didn't cause the damage to the oil tanks, so that way when, to say, oh, and then she can turn around, if they report it to her, she then goes, okay, well, leave it with me, I'll take care of it. And if Troy the toy, and whoever else was there involved from Survey, I honestly, why was Atkinson, why was Kessinger so adamant to ask for a picture of where Chris was that morning? You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, but they say that lie detector tests are admissible in court. Like, apparently, I think that means from memory, you can't use it as evidence. That's the only thing they have, because you think about it, by the time they did the lie detector test, Chris, the family was reported missing on August, I want to say the 13th. I'm hoping I'm right there. August the 13th, they were reported missing. That very next day or so, Chris was brought in for the first lot of questioning. Then the day after that, right into late at night, that night, he was called in for questioning. Then the very next day, they put him on a lie detector test. Now, they never, ever gave Chris a psychiatric test. They never asked him had he been drinking or he'd been on any drugs or anything like that. They never did anything. And they never, ever, ever, as far as I know, they never checked the ingredients on those patches that he was on. Now, I've been on antidepressants in my life. I could sometimes be mellow yellow, and sometimes I could be an upright bitch. All right, and my mood.
Sorry, Tam, just to interject real quick about the lie detector. First and foremost, that's why they are not admissible in court. And if you go back and just listen to the beginning of it, Tammy lists off about 50 things that will cause this machine to fail him. Yep. Chris never should have even been given that thing, ever, or even offered it within that short of amount of time. I'm sorry, carry on.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. He should never have been given that test so soon after. Now, if you watch the interview where Tam brings in, and again, Tam, feel free to interrupt if I'm wrong here. She brings in a large picture of Survey 319, and she goes, "All right, well, where are the kids? Like, where's Shanann?" And he points to where Shanann is. Now, the thing is, though, let's just say hypothetically, Chris did kill Shanann. All right, I'm not saying he did, but let's just say he did. Of course, he's got to know where Shanann is. But when she says, okay, now where are the girls? You look this is where my eyesight was good, so correct me if I'm wrong here, Tam. She goes, where are the girls? And you can actually see her as she's doing it, and she's handing it over, she's pointing it over, and she taps on the tanks as a part of the picture where the tanks are. Now, when Chris put, she goes, where are the kids? And she's tapping where the tanks are. So when she goes, okay, he goes, oh, well, they're in the tanks. Because you think about it, if you're looking at a recipe and stuff and someone's saying, oh, okay, use this, this, and this, and then you point to something, I can't pronounce this word. The first thing you've got to think of is to look where they're pointing and actually then try and pronounce the word they're trying to pronounce. So that's probably what Chris did. Now, Chris, again, please tell me if I'm wrong here. If Chris had actually murdered his children, as in his little girls, how the fuck did he get the tanks mixed up? He would have known which tank he put Bella in.
Yep, he marked them wrong.
Yep.
And I brought that up way back when. Because I said...
Thank you. I was going to say, that was from back when you mentioned it.
Yep, way back. I said, he marked those wrong. And first and foremost, they retrieved Cece before Bella, but he marked it BC. And the other thing is I don't see Chris. Why would Chris put himself through extra work? Why wouldn't he just put him in the hole of Shanann?
Exactly right. And if he had done this,
and on top of which, we've talked about Shanann's data from her Apple Watch, but I don't think I've ever mentioned how Chris's watch does not have him climbing stairs.
There you go. And why is it that when
we have a dead buried woman walking around all day the day she's dead, and then we got the killer disposing of bodies but not climbing stairs to put them in there.
Yeah.
And what did Kobach say?
And another
Kobach said, what was it again? Oh, that's right. People lie, science does not.
Yeah, well, detector tests aren't really scientific.
No, I mean,
the thing, well, that I've been very.
No, but I'm not talking about the lie detector. I'm talking about her watch and his watch and the data it collected. So it doesn't matter what Chris told you. If Chris had Shanann's watch, then that watch would have been found before the FBI got there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's very confusing how I'm going to call him Nick the Stink, because as I said, I have nicknames for everybody in this class. Nick the Stink. It's amazing how when he miraculously found Shanann's phone and didn't find the watch, but yet the watch was found where the phone was. Now, here's another thing that confuses me as well, is the fact that now if I'm handed somebody's phone and the screen is turned off, like the phone's not turning, like the screen's not on or anything like that, the first thing I'm going to assume in my opinion, is that the phone's flat. I'm going to want to plug that phone in because, especially if the phone is known to be on all the time, regardless of what time of day or night it is, unless they're on a plane and then it's not on. But how is it that when Chris got the phone, first of all, they didn't say, don't touch the phone, we need to take that in as evidence. They did that after Chris went through the phone. Now, how is it, though, as well, at the airport when Shanann was in, I want to say San Diego, but that's wrong, isn't it? Where was she before she was exited? Unalived.
They went to San Francisco.
Oh, okay, thank you. How is it that if Shanann was as unwell as she is, where are the people that were on the plane with Atkinson and Shanann? No one has come forward, and I mean no one has come forward that was on that plane with them. And you can't say it was those two that were the only two that were on that plane. No flight, and you've got to remember, Atkinson said we tried to force her to drink. We tried to force her to eat. How is it that no flight attendant has come forward and said, I saw Shanann on that plane and she looked absolutely terrible? And how is it that Atkinson did get off her fat ass and get out of the car, considering that Shanann was so unwell? And how is it that she had wheels for her suitcase, but you see Shanann walking up to that door, which I don't believe, carrying it, if she's got wheels that she can drag it, and it's one of those ones where you can drag it, like wheel it beside you, behind you, in front of you, whatever. Yep. It's the universal wheels. How is it that she's not doing any of that if she's so unwell? Mm-hmm. How is it that how is it that she's not, why is she carrying it?
Exactly.
I don't understand. Now, for me personally, if I'm not feeling 100%, I only need, say, 3 or 4 things from the shops. I'm a lazy bitch. I'm going to take a trolley with me. I'm not going to take a hand basket with me. I'm going to take a trolley.
Yeah.
I'm in a shopping cart, whatever you want to fucking call it.
Yep.
She was seen carrying that suitcase. I don't believe that. And how is it that Nick supposedly climbed on top of Atkinson's car to look through the window?
Which we don't have video of, by the way.
Exactly.
We don't have that video from Nate, and we absolutely should.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to, thank you. You just reminded me of something. How is it that we had footage of Chris walking out the door, but we had no footage? We had footage of Atkinson's car reversing and leaving, but we have no footage of that camera from Nate's house seeing Shanann walking up to the door.
Right. But then you have to remember, Nate's security system specifically will record for 30 seconds or whatever it is. I can't remember how long it records. And then there's a 10-minute pause. Or 10-second, not 10 minutes. 10-second pause.
What I'm saying is that when you see the car, you see the camera is somehow pointed towards where you see Atkinson's car reverse.
Oh, 100%. Right? Just like the angle of the camera is specifically at Chris's driveway, etc. When Nate tells the cop on body cam, oh yeah, I get from here, coming from there, I get this, and this. But yet you got minimal footage, Nate.
Exactly.
That's suspicious. Where's the little gray truck that Betty saw up front? Where's the footage of that left right before the cops arrived?
Exactly.
Where's that footage? Where's Nicholas looking in the garage window? Where's that?
Exactly. And Shanann's, because of to protect the girls from the sun and stuff, Shanann's car windows were not heavily tinted, but they were tinted enough.
And they were dark, so in a dark garage.
Thank you.
And their garage window was tinted as well. So now you got a double tint in a dark room.
Exactly. And when Chris goes through the garage and opens it up and all that sort of shit, the first thing I noticed when I saw that, I'm like, hang on a second. This is after I found out that Nick supposedly looked through the window. The thing I'm confused about it is, how is it that when Chris opened the garage light turns on? Mm-hmm. So how was Nick able to see, like you said, through a tinted garage window, through that, as well as through a tinted car window? The windows in the car weren't open. No. So how were you able, like for me personally, looking through double tinted shit, I can't see shit.
Well, this is my question. Why is it that Atkinson was so adamant that the car and the car seats were in the garage specifically, but then said she looked in the Lexus to see if they were in there after Chris did?
Yeah.
But you were adamant about it. And more importantly, Nate, where's the footage of when Chris's truck was moved from being directly in front of his door at 1:48 a.m. when Shanann comes home to all the way down in the dark by Betty's? Where's the footage of that truck being moved between 2 a.m. and 4:30?
Exactly. And that's what I've always stated as well, that how does Betty know that, like, because the babysitter, the Lindstrom's daughter was babysitting, as we know, on the Saturday. She claimed that his truck was brown. I know I've mentioned this to you before, and I'll give you permission just to roll your eyes around as I say this. She said the truck was brown. Chris comes home, it's grey. Betty, who had seen that car morning, noon, and night for however long it was, every single fucking season of the year. So when it was in snow, summer, autumn, winter, spring, whatever you want to fucking call the seasons. She saw that truck and she even admitted to herself it was grey. So that's why I've always had the theory in my head that Chris didn't drive his own truck home. If he is responsible for the murders, he did not drive his own truck home that Friday afternoon. Because you think about it this way, if he had driven his own truck home and supposedly killed Shanann and put her in the car and then killed the girls in the car, once again, the dog would have gone fucking bunter at his truck. Right? The dog didn't. None of the dogs did. I think there was like 3 dogs there at one stage. None of the dogs were drawn to Chris's truck. So when Chris drove home on that Friday, and then the babysitter's daughter, the Lindstrom's daughter, I'll call her Chloe. You know, that's not her name, but still I'll call her Chloe.
McKenna.
McKenna Henna. Anyway, when she came and babysat on Saturday, she admitted that the truck was brown. So I think personally that if Chris was actually in that truck that morning where Betty saw the back of his head, all right, I don't believe that was Chris driving that morning. He might have been the one that was driving his own truck and then when he drove home on that Monday, he was back in his original truck. Yes, all the computers and stuff would have registered it wasn't Chris, but we don't know that. At 4:30 in the morning, I look up.
So you're telling me the truck he came home with on Monday was his truck, but not the one on Friday?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You think about it this way.
But you just said McKenna said his truck was brown, so shouldn't he have come home Monday with a brown truck then?
No, because if he went to work on the start again, let me think. On the Friday, because he would have supposedly put the bodies into the brown truck on the Monday morning. All right. He drove
but then he comes
to work
home.
But then he switches back, say, with Troy or someone else for his original grey truck.
No.
So then that way, you think about it, the dogs didn't go and look at any of the other trucks at Anadarko. Right. So you think about it this way. If Chris put the babies and killed the babies and put the dead body of Shanann, sorry to be disrespectful to people with saying it like that, if he put Shanann's deceased body into the truck and then he said he killed the girls in the truck, the dogs would have picked up on that because there's no footage anywhere of Chris cleaning his truck. Now you remember, Nate said he's got footage everywhere.
Yeah, so now I'm going to plug you in with actual facts. So according to Ronnie and Cindy, Chris's original truck was brown.
Okay.
They questioned the silver truck, but they also weren't aware that Chris had just gotten a promotion.
Okay.
So the supervisors drive different trucks. Chris and Troy became supervisors the beginning of June. Around the middle, right before he went to San Diego.
Okay.
That's when he got the computer and the newer truck. But do I believe people planted stuff in that truck? 100%. Because the blanket and the toys were missing, right?
Yep.
And according to Shanann's autopsy, and the dogs, nobody was murdered in the house, and I know nobody died on Monday.
Yeah.
Due to lack of decomp and other things. But like I've said before, when you work for a company that has a fleet of trucks, so company trucks, they all have a fob technology, and that is in place because if one of the guys gets locked out of his truck on site, anybody else can show up and unopen it with the fob.
Yeah.
So remember I said earlier in February when they went to Wisconsin to talk to Chris, they asked him again, where'd you leave the blanket and the toys? They knew because it's in Discovery. They knew before February because they weren't in the truck on Monday when the cop looked through his truck and the shovel was. But on Wednesday, when they took the truck, the shovel's gone, but the blanket and the toys magically appeared.
And don't forget about the green lighter situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've always thought about it because I remember I was tuning into your live that night and I was thinking, hang on a second. As far as I'm aware, Chris didn't smoke.
Nope.
And as far as I know, Kessinger didn't, but Troy did.
Yep.
And that's when I came up with the thought of hang on a second, could he have actually swapped trucks? That's why I had the thought of the truck swap, because as you're saying, how did his car get from there to down there or from there to up there? Is because I think that someone drove away Chris's own truck, or there you go, he drove home on the Friday in his own truck, and then that morning throughout that night someone did the swap then.
Okay, but the swap wouldn't need to be done because nobody died on Monday, nobody died in the house, and nobody dead was in his truck.
Okay.
So he wouldn't they wouldn't need to switch. Nobody was murdered in a truck, a work truck, and I don't think anybody was transported in a work truck.
No, because you've got to remember as well, Betty has said all along, she goes, oh, well, I thought it was Chris's truck, but this was a smaller one and it had a white top on it.
White cap on it, but she said his truck is a big, big, dark gray truck. That's from Betty.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying. That's why I was confused by how is it that you say that he got the promotion in June.
Yep.
Right?
Him and Troy, by the way.
Okay, him and Troy the toy got the promotions in June. Now, how is it that Betty could have said straight out, he has a great big grey truck, but in the light it sometimes can look brown? That is something that would have been very crucial to mention.
Right, but he did used to have a brown work truck. He did until he became a supervisor.
And
it was an old truck.
Yeah, but how is it
the other one Betty saw was the small gray one with a white cap, which we've seen in pictures at Papa Kessinger's driveway.
Yeah.
And Betty said it was there right up until you guys showed up, and that's why I thought you were here.
That's right. She did too, yeah. Because I just think it's very, very strange how, and I said this in my earlier live tonight, I was saying about how it's interesting how, and I'm going to bring up the two cases that I do talk about, with the Chris Watts case. There was a locked bathroom door. It stayed locked for an hour and a half before Kova, or whatever his name is, said, why is this door locked? All right? Same thing with the fucking JonBenét Ramsey case. They say it was saying it was an imposter, but how was it, if it was an imposter, how was he able to gain entry into the house if that door is locked with a latch across the top, right? If you're inside that basement where you are basically murdering JonBenét Ramsey, how is it that latch was able to be put back across? If it was an intruder, how did that latch get put back across if they entered through the broken window part? If that's locked, they're not going to be able to get into the rest of the house. So that's why, in my theory, it's interesting how the Colorado police, I'm sorry if I'm being disrespectful to anyone that knows any that are actually good at their job, but they're fucked. You should have learned from the JonBenét case, behind a locked door holds secrets. there would have been something in that bathroom that the Chris, or not Chris, whoever committed was in that house, okay, Kessinger or Atkinson. Now, when they go into the bedroom and do something, mind you, they're dumb as fuck. They don't turn on any lights. But if you look at how the window is, you can almost see like a shadowy figure behind the curtain, because on one side the curtain blows right back towards the window. You look on the other side of the bed and the curtain goes back, but it's not up against the window with the fan on. Curtains get pushed against the window.
Yeah.
These on only one side of the bed are the curtains where they get blown with the fan gets pushed towards the window. The other side, I think it would have been the side Shanann slept on. It's like someone standing there and stopping the curtain from going right back towards the window.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, the first thing I would have said is turn off the fans.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
that makes me think of something else too. By the way,
think about it.
And they're public. Oh God, what was her name? Taylor Welch, who was helping with the gender reveal, and Shanann canceled and said, yeah, we canceled it, blah, blah, blah. Taylor Welch had sent pictures, and I know everybody's seen them, that she had on her phone of Cece in the crib with the blanket over her head, not over her head, this position, that position, right?
Yep.
You seen them?
No, I haven't. You'll have to send them to me if that's okay.
Oh, I can't believe you haven't seen them. Anyways, but they're just screenshots that were taken from the baby monitor in their room. And I'm going to be showing them on my next live, which will be in the next day or so. And I want somebody to tell me how the fuck, because we're getting the same look that Chris would get, how you can tell me that baby's any color on camera.
Thank you, because I said that back on Dave's channel. I was like, most baby monitors are black and white.
Mm-hmm.
The ones you get here anyway. I don't know what they're like over in Colorado, but 99% of them are black and white. How was he able to look at the monitor and say that, I think it was Cece was blue? Like you just said.
No, Bella was blue and dead already, and Cece was purple when he got there.
Yeah, see, I find, no amount of cleaning products could get rid of that smell. I'm sorry.
Well, no. And like I said, we're told, okay, when all evidence comes out of that house for that case, up until November 21st, or sorry, up until February, we are led to believe that 3 people died in 2 beds. In February, we're then told that somebody died in each bed. And then just after that, we're told, nope, only 1 died in 1 bed in the house, and the others were killed at the site.
Yeah.
There are 3 beds for months that weren't taken for evidence. You do not see any staining. The girls' beds aren't even messed up, kicked off, where anything looked like anything would have even taken place. You know what it looks like? Exactly what it was. The sheets were pulled back. Those babies were lifted up out of those beds by somebody they knew and taken to her office with the door closed so they could find whatever they were looking for that was in the makeup bag. Because that was an important piece of evidence to ship out to fucking North Carolina right away. Until Shanann was then taken out the back. And then those babies were put in the car with a very close family friend to which they loved and taken to where mommy was.
And another thing as well, do you remember when there was times when I can't remember which book it was, but they said about how Chris suffered from carpal tunnel?
No, that came out of Chris's mouth.
Okay, thank you, because I was trying to figure out where I heard it from. Okay.
Yeah, it came out of Chris's mouth, and that's why he liked this job better, because it was all computer and not physically manual work.
Exactly. So what I'm getting at with that, though, is, okay, now I am a sufferer of carpal tunnel. I can't lift anything heavier than a kilogram at a time. Yeah. And that's very difficult when I go do food shopping. Now, here's the funny thing I find most amusing about that. A, Chris never had carpal tunnel corrective surgery, as far as I'm aware. There's no report of that ever happening. All right. So if you don't get your carpal tunnel corrected, it progressively gets worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
Now, if you are diagnosed with carpal tunnel, you are told by your doctor, providing your doctor's a good doctor like mine, you get told, do not do any heavy lifting for more, like until your surgery is complete and you're fully healed. Do not do any heavy lifting for more than 2 kilograms. I don't know what that is in pounds, so please don't ask me to convert.
I think it's like 5. I think it's 5 pounds.
Okay, so
or 10.
So okay, so 5 pounds. You can't lift anything heavier than that, right? Because if you do, you can actually, because even though it's nerve damage, it can actually cause more permanent damage that won't be able to be repaired by surgery. Because you can actually make the nerves like split basically, and your nerves are fucked, and your hands fucked. How was it that at times Chris is supposedly saying he carried Shanann down the stairs? Then you hear other reports saying that he dragged Shanann down the stairs. Now, I'm sorry, carpal tunnel or not, Chris wouldn't have been able to lift Shanann. I'm sorry. I don't think he would have been able to.
Nor would he be able to lift her down the stairs, carry her, drag her, or anything of a like, then get her to Survey and like fireman her over his shoulder all the way to where he's now going to dig a hole in a very limited amount of time. And then he's not going to climb the stairs multiple times to try to get the girls on the top, to come only to find that now he's got to physically undo all those bolts on his own.
Exactly.
Chris didn't have time for all this, Tammy.
No, and I think personally they need to reopen this case.
Oh, no, I don't want this case reopened. I want a new case opened, and I want a whole, I'm telling you, like, you guys don't even know how many people are involved in this, and the corruption goes all the way to the top. So you said earlier, why hasn't a stewardess come out? Here's what I'm going to tell you, because I'm going to play devil's advocate. From the Making a Murderer case, I know for a fact there were 3 different witnesses that saw somebody else with that victim's vehicle in 3 different places, and yet none of that came out in court, and they all contacted authorities. But here we are almost 24 years later this year. And only now Stephen's lawyer is getting all of these affidavits from the witnesses from back then that already gave statements to the cops. So who's to say we don't have stewardesses, etc., telling us what happened on the plane? And it very well could have only been those 2 going back to Colorado from the Thrive event, right? Everybody else flew to other places. Some of them actually lived in Arizona. But we know Shanann got on that plane because her phone connected to the Wi-Fi.
Well, there you go.
So we know exactly what time she connected to that plane, exactly what time she disconnected from the plane, all by her data.
Yeah.
We know exactly when she got within range of her house because her watch, her phone, the router, and their Wi-Fi told you when she connected to the house, which then links in with her security camera of her coming home that night at that time with that person in that car to also show up on the neighbors. Again, you can't mess with all of that scientific digital evidence to make it fit. That's why the people that think that video of Shanann coming home is not from that night are flat out crazy. Because everything scientific tells you it was then. And she would have, how many trips did Shanann go on by herself? Without
Chris? Only 1.
No, there was probably many. But how many trips did Shanann go on without Chris that she'd come home at that time with that specific person? Because that specific person doesn't go on a lot of the trips.
I've always wanted to find a way to contact Uber, and then this is going to sound stupid, contact Uber in America and say to them, what fleet of cars were you using back in 2018? in Colorado?
They didn't have Uber in 2018.
They didn't?
No, we didn't
have rideshare or anything? Oh, okay.
No, that came out like 2019, 2020 maybe.
Oh, okay. Because I've always thought that it wasn't Atkinson that drove her home that night.
Yeah, no, it was her. And we know it was her because of her 360 app.
Okay. But like I said, it's just, what was this other thing that I wanted to mention as well?
Oh, but you mentioned something about a book. See, that's the big problem with a lot of people that are into this case. They take what was said in these books as evidence. They are not. They are fantasy fiction. Nothing in those books came out of his mouth. Not from Cato and not from anybody else. They're all lies because there's physical, scientific, and digital evidence that tells you and proves to you who it was, when it was, how it happened, and why. And the why is a big, giant dollar sign. Because like I said in my lives, Free Willy was worth way more dead than he ever was alive.
I love that whale. I mean, that dolphin. For people, because I didn't even know this, because they call it a killer whale.
He is a killer whale.
You're talking about. Yeah, but he's actually a dolphin. He's the cousin of the dolphin.
A cousin, but he's an orca.
Yeah, and orcas are another breed
killer
of
whales.
Dolphin, apparently. Oh, okay.
But either way, in that movie, right, they needed a bigger tank for him. They needed this, they needed that. And they said, we got this much insurance on him. He's worth more dead than he is to keep him alive. Right?
Okay, here's another
now
thing.
Let's tally up. Let's tally up financially what was gained by the beneficiaries of Shanann's estate.
A lot.
Okay. They got the house.
I can't.
They got all the contents. They got the wedding ring. They got Shanann's insurance that she had. They got Chris's work insurance. They got the insurance that Mommy Dearest took out herself on her daughter and her children. Then they got her Thrive business, which we saw made it to 200K because we saw them holding the board at the event. So that means they've taken on her line as well as Chris's. Okay. Then they also got co-ownership of Dirty South.
So and what did the Watts get? Absolutely fuck all, as far as I'm aware.
Mm-hmm. And that's not even talking about YouTube money, super chats, donations, Dr. Phil money, any other show they've ever been on. That's not even coming anywhere near the Netflix movie that they gave permission to.
How accurate do you think that Netflix movie is? I've only seen bits and pieces.
Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I found so many hidden Easter eggs in there. It would make you shit a chicken.
See, every time I sit down and get ready to watch it, it puts me to sleep. Oh. So I've got to make sure. It's weird. True crime puts me to sleep. It's fucking weird. But the thing as well that I found very sus, though, is the fact that as far as, okay, you can again correct me if I'm wrong, nobody went to the morgue and physically identified Shanann. The only thing I heard is that when they called Shanann's mum, does she have black hair? Yep. Is she beautiful? Yep. Oh, then that's my daughter.
Now, in all fairness, again, devil's advocate. We know for a fact Junior and Senior arrived Sunday. They very well could have done that, and we just aren't privy to that. Okay. So I'm not saying they did, but I'm not saying they didn't.
Okay, now there's been reports that at Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico's funeral, Frankie said something. Frankie Jr. said something. Shanann's mum said fuck all. Is there any
Which is odd because she's the talker of the family. The other thing that's weird, though, is that her bestie wasn't even there.
Atkinson.
The hero.
Oh, She's so fuck. Seriously, there are men out there and women who fight fires. There are people out there who fight fucking crime, and there are people out there who actually do good in the world that actually deserve the word hero. Atkinson does not deserve that title. She was in that house before she called the police.
Yep.
She maneuvered things around in the house. Now, you can't tell me that someone that was, how can I put it? Someone that was so organised like Shanann would allow any room in that house to, the fucking, everything had a fucking label, for fuck's sake. Even the label maker had a label, said label maker.
That was the first question I asked Cindy. The very first question I ever asked Cindy was, and I knew the answer before I asked the question, would Shanann have her office look like that? And she said, abso-fucking-lutely not. And Cindy never says the word fuck. And that's what she said.
No, that's what I mean.
If you didn't put, what she said, if you used a pen and you didn't put it back in its place, that was a mess to Shanann.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just,
but yet,
I personally am starting to, but yet her office was found in such a sty.
Not even a sty, girl. Hurricane Katrina reincarnated in that room only.
And here's the thing I find interesting, though, is the fact that when, I think it was Lindstrom, okay, correct me again if I'm wrong, Lindstrom turned up to take Chris to the airport at one stage. And Shanann said, oh, well, he's not going anywhere until he cleans the basement. All right. How is it that she was so hell-bent on making sure the basement was cleaned up and looking somewhat presentable, but yet she would, hypothetically, she was okay to have her office in such a mess? I personally think Kessinger was in that office because you think the thing as well that makes me angry, though, is that Atkinson. Okay, we'll go with
Atkinson. The girls were in that office and she was looking for the makeup bag or whatever else she was looking for, and they were playing with the bags of toys on the floor. That's how the book ended up on top of the fridge when they were leaving to go see mommy.
Far out. Okay.
Now let's back it up one more to the night that McKenna babysat. It is in Discovery specifically. I don't know the page off the top of my head. McKenna didn't babysit alone that night.
What do you mean she was there without? Who was there with her? With her?
She had a friend, as well as her mother was there the whole time. But we were told she came to pick her up.
That's what I was going to say. It says that there's the story goes that her mum dropped her off, walked her in with to meet, say good day to Christie's, my daughter, and then she left, and then she came back. There was nothing saying that McKenna was there with a friend and her mum. There was no reports about that at all. We're led to believe that McKenna.
Right, but there is a report, and it's in the Discovery.
Okay, I'll have to look into that somehow.
I'll look into it and I'll send you where I found it. I can't think of where I found it exactly right now, but there is a report, and McKenna said that her mom was there with her as well as her friend. I forget the girl's name, and so we weren't told any of that. My big question is, why is it that all of the loved ones, family, friends, and heroes are lying? And the criminal is lying clearly because whatever he's saying doesn't even match anything. He still has yet to figure out how they died.
Yeah, because the thing I find very interesting, though, is that when you watch the interview with him in the interview room too, he's talking about things and he's not really shaking. His legs not going fucking trembling up and down like a fucking banshee. No? But yet when he's in the courtroom and they're talking about how the girls were found in the tanks and stuff, the camera swoops around and you look at Chris and his fucking knees like fucking going up and down like it's fucking shaking because Chris is fucking mortified that whoever did this to his girls actually did this to them. Hello to the two people that are watching. So I start to think as well is the fact that when it comes down to it, I think that personally, and this is a far-fetched thing to the max, it's interesting that when Atkinson was saying at one stage, Chris, that night when I went over there, or that day when I went over there, Chris would normally greet me with a hug and a hello, how's it going? But this particular time he was very standoffish. Now he didn't give me a hello, he didn't give me a hug, nothing, and I was a little bit taken aback by it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think she may have had the hots for Chris. Now, this is going to be so far-fetched that you could throw your fishing line out and you can catch a shark. This is how far-fetched it probably is. I think she had feelings for Chris, and Chris didn't reciprocate those feelings because he was saying, look, no, I can't, I'm with Shanann. And then when Chris got involved with Kessinger, she became so fucking jealous that she wanted to make Chris suffer. So she did away with the
but you have to remember, Kessinger was at that house and in that house on the 18th of July while Chris is at work and Shanann's in North Carolina. And who was taking care of the dog again? And have the alarm codes and everything? Oh, yeah, that's right. Atkinson and her boy.
Could it be that Atkinson and Kessinger were actually friends?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Because it's the funny thing is though, is the fact that when Shanann was saying stuff to Atkinson, and this is just a theory, again, a thinking thought. When Shanann was telling Atkinson about how Chris is being really distant and all that sort of shit, instead of just thinking, oh, he's probably tired from work, he's probably stressed out because what's going on with his parents and you and all that sort of stuff, Atkinson was the first one that the first thought to her head was he might be cheating. He's not cheating on you. Why would that be the first thing that pops into your head?
Right. And just you said earlier about why did they let Chris touch that phone? Exactly. Well, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? It wasn't a crime scene yet.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that I find...
But at this point, when Coonrod gets there, okay, all he knows is Chris went to work and his wife was supposed to go to a friend's, and now it's only a couple hours later. So nothing's a crime scene yet.
But, okay, back to the phone scenario. What I'm saying is if, say, for example, if I turn my phone off and I hand it to you and I say, here you go, take my phone. And then you go press, like, say, the side button or you double tap the screen or anything like that and the screen doesn't light up. The first thing that goes through my head, if that happens to me, I'm going to think, okay, the phone's flat. Better find a charger cord for it. Chris, on the other hand, he took the phone, and the first thing he did, he didn't tap on the screen. He didn't do anything like that. He just straight away turned it on. How would Chris know there would have been enough battery in the phone? Like they say, if your phone's flat and you turn it off and then you go try and turn it back on.
But he wouldn't have known if it was, like for me, I'll try and turn it on first. Which he did, because when it gets handed, it's an iPhone. So when you hand somebody an iPhone, the screen will light up if it's on. It gets handed to Chris, he touches it, and it lights up because he hit the power button. And then it showed him it had a 50% battery to it. The other thing is the fact that if you look at the pictures that the cops took, every single thing on Shanann's side of the bed was unplugged. Her chargers were all unplugged.
That's very strange to have that happen. You think that they would have been plugged in. Because Shanann, as you know, she would have to have had her phone plugging. Like, people are saying, how do we know that?
Her watch, her little diffuser thing beside the bed, the fan that she had beside the bed. Everything was unplugged. And there was a picture specifically taken of that for a reason.
That's really weird.
There was another thing, too, that Atkinson said. Fuck, what was it now? Again, these people burned themselves. over and over and over and over again. And I go back to, why are innocent people telling me lies? Why is it easier for me to prove their guilt than the guy that's convicted?
Exactly.
And believe me, let me tell you, I have tried everything to make him a part of this, and I cannot. But I can make people physically a part of it, scientifically a part of it, and digitally a part of it. I can do that for everybody else, including the chicks that she Dieter from.
Now, here's the thing I find very interesting about that sort of thing is the fact, sorry, I'm going to have to connect to my tablet because my phone is nearly dead and it won't charge. So give me one sec while I figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, it's just a bit strange how, you know, Atkinson didn't really seem to give two shits, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, she didn't. And that was very, very, very abundantly clear when not even a day later, after calling in everybody but the National Guard and Secret Service, you have an issue with being questioned about your best friend that you were so worried about. Not even a day ago. Now you don't want to be interviewed. You don't want to answer any more questions to help find her. And you think you're going to get arrested for something? Huh.
Hey, chicken lady. Okay, I'm just going to quickly pop off and quickly go onto my tablet. So if you are okay, can you take over for a bit?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back in just a sec.
Chicken lady. I'm going to send you an email regarding the person you mentioned earlier that came in your chat. Okay. Yep. Nope. Message me. No, that's awesome. I love that you're going to do that. Now I forgot my thought. It just fell right out of my head. Oh my goodness. Tammy's trying to switch technology because her phone's dying. I'm not sure if you heard that, if you were here yet. But
can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep, I'm back.
Okay. I was just answering Chicken Lady. She said she's going to email me because one of the people I mentioned on my post is not the dirty dingo.
Oh, okay. Hey, Tammy.
But that's okay because we're going to get the information. So that's all we need.
Yeah, thank you, Chicken Lady. You've always been a sweetheart. I've missed her. I've been actually generally worried about her because she doesn't have Facebook anymore. So I can't message her on there to make sure she's okay. So it's good to actually see her in here.
Chicken Lady, I don't know if you know this, though. You don't have to have the Facebook part of it. You can get Messenger without the Facebook.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping to try and figure out how to do that. But
it's only when you do Messenger, you're doing it off a Messenger app, not Facebook.
Yes. See, I don't do Messenger or Facebook through my tablet, but yet when people ring me through Messenger, my tablet seems to ring and there's no feature on my phone where I can go answer.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck?
No, but you have Facebook on there, don't you?
No.
Oh, not at all.
No. I keep
Facebook so that's connected to your Gmail account then.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. But everything, like, I have my StreamYard set up to my tablet because my phone at the moment, completely, the battery's shit. When I started this live, my phone was on 100%, and then it went down to 15% real quick, and then plugged it in, didn't have it plugged in. Oh, sorry, I had it plugged in at 15, thinking it was going to charge, and then it dropped down to 10. I'm like, fuck this shit. This phone charges, or the phone itself is absolute shit. So that's why I had to make the switch to my tablet because I had my tablet charging like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a second. I've got to figure out this. This is going to be such a horrible thing to do. Chicken Lady, can you prove that it's you? I'm so sorry. I'm very freaked out with that shit with Doe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Thank you, Chicken Lady. I'll look at my email. So hopefully you sent it to my right email, the one that's my name and then 182@gmail.com. Because that's the only email I can access. Thank you, Chicken Lady. But no, I'm just back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the Watts case for a second. It's not going to fly anymore with me with people. Like, if people want to be my mods, that's awesome. If you know that Dave is being one of these alternate profiles, don't wait until after the live to confront me about it. Block them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, I would rather have 20 loyal subscribers than over 400 fake. And if anyone out there knows of any of the alts, email me and I'll pass them on to Tam. I'm not going to have this person who has had his channel removed from YouTube for a very specific reason. All right? And it's not fair for the people who are trying to do, like, and again, Tam, I'm sorry to put you on the spot like this. Tam has not made a single fucking cent discussing the Watts case because Tam actually wants the proper people who are responsible for this case in prison. She's not doing what she's doing to line her fucking pockets. And again, I'm so sorry if you take offense to what I'm about to say. There was about a year where Tam had no teeth. She was on like soft foods and all the rest of that sort of shit. She could have easily created herself when I tried to help, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, then send it to her. She didn't want to GoFundMe to help get the teeth quicker for her. She didn't want to do PayPal because she didn't want people. She didn't want to be looking at every time she saw herself smile. She didn't want to look at that smile and go, I got this smile because of a deceased family. There are people out there who do make money on this case, and I'm guilty of that. I'm not denying that. There was a time when I did make money, but there's no way in the world that I made anywhere near as much money as Dave did.
It's not even a matter of people making money, though. What bothers me the most, and it makes me sick, is when they purposely ignore the facts and keep feeding you with the bullshit. Now, I might not like a lot of those YouTubers, but I know they're smarter than this. So for any one of them to still try to convince people that this was Chris and only Chris and that's it, and that's, even if they're trying to bring in others now that Chris is guilty at all, come on.
Like you said previously.
I know for a fact ATS is smarter than that. Kelly's smarter than that. Watts the Obsession smarter than that. Unjustified smarter than that. Lana is smarter than that. And then you got the dingo who's in the lion's den, and he's making a boat ton of money and still convincing Chris's parents Chris is involved. So now you're taking advantage of people who are victims.
Exactly. Now, I was going through YouTube the other day, and it's actually funny how yourself and Mia and Unjustified and What's the Obsession and anyone else who discusses this case, apart from Dave, every single one of them allows people to have an opinion when it comes to this case. And I have stated from the very beginning when I started talking about this case on this channel, I always stated at the end of the day, every single one of us, including the police, we all started with a theory. All right? We didn't all start out with straight away, yes, it's Chris, arrest him on the actual day it happened, you know? We didn't. We all started off with a theory. Regardless of what the crime is, every single crime starts with a theory. It doesn't start with concrete proof unless you are there and you are watching someone being basically bludgeoned to death. You can't start. You can start off with facts then because you're there witnessing this shit happen. But every single case that has people like the murderers go free for an extended longer than 48 hours, it's a theory. It's never concrete to start with unless you're caught red-handed, basically, at the scene as the crime's occurring. And that is the one thing I will always, and I mean always hold you in the most highest respect for, Tam, is that you allow people to have a difference of opinion than you. Like if someone comes in there and goes, oh, no, Chris did it, you'll be like, well, here's what I think. This might just hear me out, you know, like you say to me. Listen to what I have to say after what you say, and then have another think about what your theory is. If you still believe your theory, then that's your theory. But this is what I've read about, because if I have something I want to say about the Watts case,
before I even think of discussing it on my channel. Oh shit! Nearly dropped my phone. Oh my god, what have I done? Are you there?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I just clicked out of bloody. Where the hell am I? Fucking hell. Oh well, I can stay on there for a bit. And what happened is that you allow me to actually tell you what I'm thinking. You don't discriminate against me at all, and I'll be forever. Oh, sorry, hang on. I've got someone. No, I don't. I thought I had someone backstage, but it was just being there.
Oh,
but fucking hell, this phone's weird. And it's just like I want people to always remember that. You know, Tam is the one person that if I have a theory, like I said, I go to her. Regardless of the circumstances. She says that she's busy. I'm like, I have a theory. I really need your help with this.
Yeah.
You know, and if, you know, she doesn't, you don't discriminate against any theory I have. Like the one about how I don't think it was Chris driving home that day in his truck. I don't believe it was Chris sitting in the truck that morning. You know, I believe that was Troy sitting in that truck because he went, you know, he was late for work that day because he supposedly wanted to go get a breakfast burrito. But I believe that was Troy the toy sitting in the truck that fucking Betty thought was Chris. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's my theory. And if other people have a difference of opinion, please, I welcome it. And that's the thing with when I used to be a mod on Dave's channel, you actually basically had to agree with whatever he said. And whatever he said, if you disagreed, he would make your life in chat for that live and other lives to follow. Hell, he would either block you or he would basically out you for being disrespectful in chat because you're disagreeing with him. And because it was causing a little bit of drama, people would pay him to continue being a prick. And that amount of money he was getting paid went to his head.
Oh, 100%.
I know everyone hates him, and I'm not a fan of him by a long shot. Hate's a very strong word in my language lately. I don't hate him. I just feel sorry for him. Because he's allowed... Beg your pardon?
I hate criminals.
Yeah, well, that too. But it comes down to
he is a criminal.
The money. Okay. Well, you heard it here first. What I'm saying is the fact that I grew up with fucking nothing, you know, like I didn't have brand new shoes every month. I didn't have the latest fashion. I didn't have like Nike shoes, Nike clothes, all that kind of crap. I was in secondhand clothes the majority of my childhood, and even hand-me-downs from my sister. The thing is, though, is the fact that if I was to make, say, $2,000 in a live, I wouldn't gloat about it. I wouldn't tell anybody about it. No. But what I'm saying is that I would rather know that I've made that money because people like my content. They think that I'm a funny person and all that sort of shit. I would not be able to make that money and look at it and go, I'm going to go buy this. And then every time I used it, for me, it would feel like it was blood money.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, when you don't have something and then suddenly you get a lot of it, whether it be money, whether it be power, whether it be even sex, drugs, whatever. The thing is, though, is that when you don't have something and then suddenly you're more than, you've got more than enough than you can deal with it, whichever it is, it goes to your head. It goes to your ego. You think people love me. They really love me. This is great. I can be an arsehole. I can be disrespectful. I can, even though not many people are fans of the Ruseks, I can be total arseholes to them. I can accuse Frankie and his dad and his mum making all this money over the death of their family members, but yet I can sit back here in Australia and I can talk about this case and I can make money, but nobody can judge me for that. And that's the thing that really, like when I first started talking to Dave, he was a down-to-earth person. He wouldn't let me mention them by name. I had to say, when I wanted to say Shanann, I had to say S, because, at that time the case was still like pretty fresh. So, if I wanted to talk about Chris, I could say Chris because he was, convicted, but I couldn't mention the victims by name.
You can mention the victims because they're deceased.
I wasn't allowed when I first went on his channel. I think it was Christmas.
Oh, by him. You weren't allowed by him. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to by him. Now he's, as you know, his channel's been terminated. But there was when I was on his panel for the very first time, and I would say Shanann. He goes, no, you can't say Shanann. You have to say S. Or if I wanted to talk about Bella or Cece. I have to say B or C. I was not allowed to actually say their names. And I thought, this guy runs a tight ship, but okay, cool. And then when I found out he was actually an Aussie, because when I first got on his panel, it was Tia and LFT. And I was like, g'day, mate. How's it going? And all this sort of shit. I didn't know that Dave was an Aussie.
Oh.
You know, and because I didn't hear him talk, I just saw those two. They'll talk about the Watts case, and I thought, well, I've had a pretty shitty Christmas as usual. I'll get up there and talk. And then Dave came on, and then I was realizing, after he started talking a bit more, I'm like, this fucker's Australian. This is awesome. An Australian's talking about this case. This is awesome. But like I said, his ego got too big for his britches.
Well,
at the end of the day.
And you know what helps that ego?
Money.
Crack cocaine.
You don't think Dave's on drugs, do you?
Are you on drugs for not knowing that he's on drugs?
I don't fucking know. I don't really look at his...
Girl.
Sorry. Okay. He was on drugs. Because I'll be honest with you, it was... that's why I think his moods and everything changed so much. Is because he was either heavily drinking or he was on something.
Not to mention, which, by the way, I'm not sure if you know this, but crack comes from cocaine or vice versa, but it's the same drug.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what was it, the habit that Ronnie had back in the day? And who was put in place to get me away from Cindy and take over? And
Dave.
who flew there for a visit?
Dave.
Right.
Oh my God.
Cato was planted. Cassinger was planted. Anna was planted. Everybody that's fucked over Ronnie and Cindy were purposely put into their lives. Because trust me, there were a good 10 of them. What was that? Kim, they all tried to get Cindy away from me and it didn't work. See, that one worked only because he went through Ronnie.
That's so fucked up. Because I would say, and I'm not saying, this might make me sound like I've got an ego, but I'm pretty sure that if I ever, which I don't, but if I ever got the opportunity to speak to Ronnie and Cindy, I would not disrespect them anywhere. Oh, she's disappeared again, I think. You tried to hit the mute. Oh, God. I don't know what's going on. Yep, Tam's disappeared again. She'll be back, I think. But, yes, that's scary. But, yeah, no, I just want people to know that if they know of any alts that Seeking the Truth with Dave is using, please email me and email Tam, because it's getting too much. I'm not shutting down my channel. I'm not going anywhere. This channel might be doxxed at the end of this. But I hope not. I just hope that the people that are still supporting him, just watch your backs. Seriously, watch your backs, guys, because I actually thought that Dave was a true friend. I actually looked up to him as a role model, and I actually looked at him like a father figure because my own father has passed away. I looked at Dave as though that, he was going to be the one that, because this is before I got to know Tam and Mia and, a few other creators that discussed this case. I actually thought that Dave was going to be the one that could, do good with this case. And unfortunately, he went down the wrong rabbit hole and sabotaged it all, basically. I don't hold any ill will to him. I don't wish him any ill health. I wish that he would get the help that he desperately needs. And if he ever decides to actually apologise to me, I will accept his apology, but he will not be welcome into my chats. I have a duty to the people I've become friends with that he has actually hurt to protect them. Like I said, I don't wish any ill health today. I don't. I wish him all the best for his future endeavours. I just want him to stay away from my channel and leave me the fuck alone. And leave all the other people that he's harassing alone. There was a time when there was those things going around about how Dave was sending inappropriate messages to women on the sexual content. And it was a big uproar about it. Dave said he was going to go get help for it. I don't think he ever did. But if he did, it didn't work, so go back and get more. And I publicly opened up my heart and spoke on Armchair Detective and told about how he was a bully towards me. And as much as this is going to sound like I'm being a bitch saying this, no one, and I mean no one, would let me on their panel apart from Armchair Detective to talk about it. No one gave a fuck. Now, Dave has been bullying other people, and suddenly everyone gives a shit. But I forewarned people that Dave is a bully. He never sexually harassed me. He never sent me anything crude or anything like that. He was just a bully. Now, I want Dave to take a good hard look at himself, and I hope that this video gets sent to him. I really hope it does. Because at the end of the day, he does need to understand that I was actually a loyal friend to him. I would go on his panel even when I was sick. I would let him on my panel at the beginning of my like when I first started my channel. I would let him onto my panel and basically take over and talk about the Watts case. I gave him that extra platform just to have him coming here as adults. He's not acting like an adult, but as alternative accounts to bully me. So then he has more ammunition to use against me to call me Miss PayPal, or that I'm a beggar. Now, as I've said earlier in the live, I don't beg unless it's really, really important that I need the help. All right? I do have an Amazon wish list because I physically can't afford the things that I need to make cooking and all that sort of shit easier for me to be able to do. So in there's things like battery-operated fucking salt and pepper grinder thingies because I can't actually grip the salt and pepper things that you twist and it comes out the bottom. I've got battery ones that you just push a button and it comes out that way. I've put things on there that I can, instead of having to try and struggle to open up a spice jar, I've actually put like a spice thing there that I could just push a button and then the spice comes out at the bottom into a little thing and then I put it into my whatever I'm cooking. I've put things in there and I've also put like things there that would actually help make life a little bit easier for me. And to be called a beggar and Miss PayPal from somebody who has super chats, super stickers, membership, PayPal, and before his channel was shut down, merchandise on his channel, I don't appreciate being told that I'm a beggar. I don't appreciate that whatsoever. I'm not a beggar. I take that back. When I actually know that I have things that I need to do or things that I need to make my life a little bit easier, then by all means, I might actually tell people where my PayPal is because 98% of the people that come into my chats that like me for the right reasons don't want to read the description because if they read the description, they might miss something in chat or they might miss my live because sometimes I go on a big tirade. So, of course, yes, I mentioned where my PayPal is. I mentioned my Amazon wish list isn't in this particular live. But I'll mention that I have it. Like I said, I have an Amazon wish list. I have PayPal because then that way I know that I've got that little bit of extra money if I need to get, excuse me, if I need to get eye drops. I can get called up from the hospital at any given time to say you have to be in here by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning because we've got a cornea for you. For those who don't know, I have to go through another corneal transplant on my left eye. I've had my right eye done. I just need my left eye done now. So I can get called up at any time. But if I don't have the money to get in there, then I miss out. And then you go around again for the waiting list. So long story short of things, no worries. Take your time, Tam. It's all good, sweetheart, because I'm going to wrap this up very soon. I just want people to understand that I never plan to do membership. I never plan to do super stickers. I never plan to do super chats. I don't plan to do any of that, because I see it as that whatever I'm talking about, whether it's Chris Watts with True, excuse me, whether I'm talking about true crime with True Tam, or I'm talking about my own personal demons that I'm battling for that day, I would rather know that people can relate to it and not feel as though they're going to be having to pay a monthly fee to understand what I'm going to understand what I'm going through. That's not right. The research I do when I can, I do that research and it doesn't cost me a fucking cent. So why should I charge you guys to listen to what I have to say? Like I said before, as much as I'm probably going to cop a lot of slack for this, I'll say it. I wish Dave nothing but the happiness he deserves. I want him to, do whatever he wants to do, but just leave me and everyone else that you're being bullying, leave us all the fuck alone. Run away with your tail between your legs. Your channel's gone. Go find another platform where you think people are going to want to hear what you have to say. Because at the end of the day, the only person you have to contend with at the end of each night and every time you go to bed at night, whether you are still with your partner or not, I don't know, but let's just say you're not, right? You have to go to bed with yourself every night and you have to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror every single time, all right? And if you can live with yourself knowing that you're hurting people that at one stage literally gave a shit about you, would actually tell people, this is me I'm talking about, I would actually tell people that when Dave would come up on panel, if you are going to disrespect Dave, you can fuck off. That's how much I protected him when he would be a guest on my channel. And to have him turn around and say that he's disappointed in me because I was asking one of his friends for money when I wasn't. She asked, what's new? What's been happening? I'm like, well, I'm saving up for an air conditioner. It's pretty hard because I have monthly inspections and all that sort of shit. And it's proving difficult. I didn't ever say, I'm saving up for an air conditioner. It's proving difficult. Hey, do you want to give me a handout? Never once did I ask her for money. And then I said, I'm sorry, I'm telling you about my financial issues, but that's not your problem, that's mine. According to him, she went straight to him and told him that I was asking and telling her about my financial issues, hoping that she would give me money. That was not the case at all. If someone comes to me and goes, hey, Tam, guess what? I'm saving up for a car. I'm not going to assume they're asking me for money. But apparently this particular person who's or is or was or still is friends with Dave assumed that. And then Dave took it upon himself to basically send me quite an abusive message saying, how fucking dare you? And it was like, well, what did I do? I was just telling her what I've been doing, I was telling her I'm saving up for an air conditioner because my unit gets real fucking hot in summer. There's no crime in that. Fucking hell. But he could take $3,000 of her to go buy a computer that when he had, again, at that time, he was getting super chats, super stickers, membership, PayPal, and all that crap on his channel to make money. But yet I try and make just a little bit here and there and I'm judged. I'm getting called Miss PayPal. Fuck off, though. And if I get one more person coming in here and I find out it's one of his alts, I will be reporting it to the authorities. Because I'm not going to be bullied off a platform that I have spent nearly 3 years trying to create. Like I said earlier, I thank Dave for giving me the opportunity to be on his channel as often as I was. I thank him from the bottom of my heart for that. I thank him for giving me the confidence to do that. I thank him for being on my lives when I first started. I thank him for all of that. But does that mean that that gives him the right to now bully me? I would love to, but that case is a little bit upsetting for me, and until my eyes are better, I can't actually do any true crime, unfortunately. I would absolutely love to, though. But like I said, it's just like, I want people, like I said, but thank you for the suggestion, Chicken Lady. How much that was chicken? You know what I mean? Like, there are so many cases I want to do. I want to do like the tour of the last moments of the Beaumont children and all that sort of stuff. But until my eyes are better, guys, I can't do much. And I don't have a spare $5,000 to go pay the hospital to say. But at the same time, why pay the hospital that much? I don't have that much money, and I'm not going to be asking my subscribers to help me pay for that. No fucking way. When at the end of the day, it's going to be the exact same amount of waiting time it would be if I was a public patient. You know what I mean? And a public patient, I don't have to pay for it. But like I said, I just want people to understand that I didn't do this live tonight to try and make myself seem like I'm the bigger person, or I didn't do it to try and, excuse me, rock any boats. I didn't do this to be the shark in the pool, so to speak. I did this because I want my truth to be heard. I refuse to be bullied by alternate accounts. I understand you can't come in here as Dave anymore because your channel's been terminated. But before you start going around and thinking that all these people are to blame, take a look at yourself in the mirror, and a good hard look when I say this, and ask yourself, what is it that I've done to make these people do this? What have I done for YouTube to take it so seriously that they no longer want me on their platform? You know what I mean? So before you go around and pointing the finger going, you're to blame, you're to blame, you're to blame, I never once encouraged people to report your channel. I stayed away from your channel for a good 3 years. 2 years, or no, 3 years, that's a bit extreme. For the last year and a bit, I've stayed, or longer, I can't exactly remember how long it's been. But I've stayed away from your channel for quite a long time. How about you show me the same respect by staying away from mine? And anyone else's that I care about. Like I said, you were trusted quite a lot, Dave. And you broke that trust in so many people, not just me. And quite frankly, I don't give a flying fuck what you think of me after this live, because you mean as much to me as a white crayon on a white piece of paper. You mean nothing to me anymore. And you'll continue to mean nothing to me. I've done nothing wrong here. Like I said, I've just spoken my truth. You're saying you're seeking the truth? Well, here's the truth, Dave. You've turned into a shallow, money-hungry, egotistical prick. And that's putting it as nicely as I can, and then I'll go with a cherry on top. You want to continue hurting people? The people you continue to hurt are going to be the ones that continue to report you. I haven't reported you. Why? Because I don't know for absolute certainty. I have people telling me that those people are you, but I don't have for absolute concrete fact that it's you. So I'm not going to go report someone, and it turns out it's actually someone who is a legit person. I knew you were Sam the Butcher, and the moment you mentioned about how you didn't know how to use PayPal, I figured out straight away then as well that it was you. You have a distinct way of writing things that Blind Freddy could see that it was you. No, this is a separate live A Dose of Rose. This is a different live. I did one earlier, and this is a second one in reaction to what happened in the previous one. But I want to wish every single person that is celebrating Valentine's Day today, have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Don't ever think for a second that because you haven't got someone in, like a significant other in your life, that you're not loved, because you are. Do one thing every single day that would make your inner self proud. Don't settle for second best when you can have the best. I will not tolerate any more bullying this day forward. I will not put up with anyone disrespecting anyone in chat when they're on panel with me. If you want to continue being part of my channel, great. If you're here to spy for people like Dave and other people out there who don't like me, unsubscribe to my channel. Because one way or another, I will find how to find my friends, my subscriber list, and I will be going through that, and I will be demodding a few people. And if you wish, if you're listening to this on replay or you're listening to this live and you wish to stay on mod on my channel, then you need to protect me when I'm talking up here on panel. I need to know that if I look away from chat and someone comes in and starts shit and you think it's one of Dave's alts, you block them. Like I said when Tam was up here, I would rather have 20 loyal subscribers than over 400 fake. Dave helped me get my channel up and going. Like Van, chilling with Van, she set up my channel when it was True Crime Discussions with Tammy. Aussie True Crime helped me make it Tammy Wells' channel. Or Tammy's Corner, I should say. Never in a million years did I ever think I would have close to what I have as far as subscribers go. But as soon as I can figure out where to look for my subscriber list, I will be going through that list. And I will be discussing with a very reliable source who knows the majority of Dave's alts. And I will be saying, okay, I'm going to read you over 500 names. You need to tell me out of these which ones are Dave's alts. And those ones will be blocked by me. Exactly. I'm trying to be kind to myself. It's very difficult at times. But like I said, I want every single person in this room now and whoever's watching this on replay. Remember this, I am 41 years old. I am not a teenager anymore. I'm not a child. Okay? I do not deserve to be bullied because bullying is what you do in school. Bullying is what you do when you don't like someone and you want to spread a bitchy rumor about them. That's bullying. But coming in here, excuse me. Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm just waking up, so I wanted to make sure that you knew that I missed the earlier one, and if you leave it up for me, I will go back and give you a holler later on during the day. But I also wanted to say hey to the familiar names that I'm seeing in your chat and say hey to everybody. Got to go back to that one now. Okay, again, I'm just waking up, so thoughts are not my best friend right now. I did see True Tam, I did see Kelly B for a minute, I did see Chicken Lady, and a couple other that are out of my head right now. But I'm listening to a dear friend here who's triggered again, and I want to let you know that I recognize that you're handling it just a bit differently, which I'm very proud of you to see that you're handling it differently. Instead of
wait till you see the beginning of the live, sweetheart.
I know, and I'm trying to be kind because I'm trying to help you remember that growth is growth.
Yes, it is.
And and my avatar is totally blank on my side. I hope you're seeing something.
Oh no, I can see your face, like your avatar.
Okay,
Is
good.
mine? People say that mine's always like a white dot. I don't understand why that's happening.
See, and mine's the white dot this time on my screen, and yours is the purple icon, Tammy's Corner, which I love.
Yeah, Aussie Trick Prime did that for me. She's incredible.
Yes, she is, and I'm sorry I missed her. I bet she was on the other live. I didn't want to come in and take over, sweetie. I really don't. I have a habit of doing that, and I'm sorry. But I wanted to at least let you know and everybody else, happy Valentine's Day for those that celebrate. And here in my area, it's, the Kansas City Chiefs Day. So with the parade and everything going on. Yeah. Yeah, how exciting this is going to be. But I don't have to go into town today, so I'm good.
Oh, I think I'd need at least a gallon of coffee to be able to sit through a parade.
Oh no,
I love coffee.
I love parades and I love coffee, but they're probably just starting out, probably within the next half hour. Either they've already started at 10 or they're starting at 11. I don't know because I don't care. So again, I just wanted to steer you back to something positive and silly like, me. Because I know how deeply you take things.
Yes. And I need to learn how to stop taking things to heart. But it's hard when this particular, also, I've said his name throughout the live, when Dave creates an alt and then comes in and dangles the fucking carrot of, I was going to give you a super chat. And then I'm like, well, I don't have super chat.
Look, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to try and stop you. Because, again, what does it matter? I know it hurts in the minute, because you know what I went through with a dear friend from far away. I know it hurts in the minute, but realistically, that has no bearing on who you are, where you're from, where you're going, how you conduct your business. It has no bearing except a weak person trying to go, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So fuck them.
Exactly.
And raise your head up because you a queen and walk on in strength.
Thank you so much.
They're just people trying to get your crumbs.
That's very, very true.
So let it go. Let it go.
Oh, I fucking hate that song.
So do I.
I like the rendition of it. Fuck it all.
I'll have to look that one up.
I'll send it to you when I finish on here. I'll send it to you. It's actually quite funny.
Excellent.
I listen to that when I just sometimes have a real shit live. I just go onto YouTube and play that song. And the best thing is my tablet's like really loud. Yeah. So I can just have it like in my bedroom and I can be in the kitchen or the bathroom or whatever. And all I hear is, fuck it all, fuck it. I can't sing. But it's a good song. If I could have that as my intro song when I'm about to go on the warpath, then I would, but I can't for copyright infringement. So.
No, I get it. I totally get it. I just, again, I'm going to let you go now because I am ending with you on a higher note than when I joined. Yes, you are. And I just really want you to have a good rest of your day or night or whatever it is for you, wherever you are. And
the time here is 12:03 in the morning.
Oh, girl. Okay, that's my usual time to go to bed. Honestly, that's my usual time to go to bed.
Yeah, but I have to get some sleep, I guess.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to let you go. And Chicken Lady, I see you're still in here or were. And anybody else that's still in here, thank you for taking the time to let me talk to our girl here. And Tammy, you take care. Have a good rest of the day. Get a good sleep. Sleep sweet. I've just heard that saying. Sleep sweet.
Yeah, I like that. Sleep sweet. It says like sleep well. Sleep sweet. I like that.
Sleep sweet.
And thank you for everything you've brought into my life since I met you. I really appreciate that. You're an absolute sweetheart.
Oh, don't tell anybody. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here now. Remember how to do that. And I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, see you, sweetheart. Thank you.
Love you heaps. Bye.
Love you heaps too. Bye. She remembered how to do it. Woohoo! Oh, she always manages to put a smile on my dial, that woman. If she ever comes to Australia, I'll open up my house to her like in a heartbeat. But like I was saying before, it's just fuck it all, basically. Look up that song, Rosalie. Fuck. Dose of Rose. Sorry, I couldn't remember. Fucking hell. Yeah, definitely look up that song. I'll send it to you. And I'm not going to let people hurt me anymore. And happy Valentine's Day to you too, Chicken Lady. That's very true too, Chicken Lady. I'm just going to let it go and say fuck it all. In all honesty, I'm going to keep this live up though. I might private it later, but probably not. But I just want everyone to know that I appreciate everyone that has actually shown positive support since I've had my channel. I really appreciate it very, 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 very much. You are all uniquely amazing and incredible. And thank you for sticking by me. Rose, fuck, a dose of Rose. Fuck hell. I'll find that song now because I'm going to head off. And then I'm going to go to get to bed. I'm going to go and sleep. So was it sleep? Sweet. Yeah. Sweet sleep. Whatever it was. I can't even fucking remember. All right, guys. I'll be back in a few days to do another live, and hopefully it's more uplifting than this one was. And it was uplifting, and we talked a little bit of Chris Watts. Thanks, True Tam, for coming up here. Thank you, A Dose of Rose, for coming up here. I really appreciate it. Oh, Rosa Lang, thank you. And thank you to everyone who did. Chicken Lady, thank you for coming in here. Everybody who did come in here, thank you so, so much. Kelly B, if you're still in here, I'm not sure if you are, but thank you to everyone. Like I said, the support is overwhelming and amazing. You're all amazing. I try and be amazing. And that's the beauty of life, is that you've got a new day. Sleep sweet. Thank you. I want everybody to know that I don't normally out people. I don't like to do it. But when I've had enough, it's like this live was going to go and do it tomorrow. But if I was going to sleep sweet, as Rosalind would say, I needed to get this off my chest. So thank you for everyone who was in here. Thank you to the people who participated in chat. To the people in the background, thank you for just being here because you counted as a view. But I want you all to know that you are all amazing. And to everyone who is celebrating it, whether it's a parade, that noise, I'm sorry, parade, give me the shits. I'm sorry. Just the noises of all the instruments, it's like, oh, fuck. It's like a massive hangover without having to drink. But anyway, all of you take care. Have an amazing. Fucking hell, it is their Father's and Mother's Day. It's not that. It's Valentine's Day. And just remember, as long as you love yourself, you'll always have a Valentine. And until next time, good morning, everybody, and good afternoon, and good evening, world. And just know that, like I said, the next live, I hope it's a bit more uplifting, and I can give you guys some laughs. And I'm thinking of doing a live where we could tell embarrassing stories. I've already told 2 of mine. I think it was on the last live. I think I told 1 or I told 2. I can't remember. I know I told 1, that's for sure. But until next time, like I said, as long as you love yourself, you'll always have a Valentine. Bye.